all of this stuff is great, but are the opportunities going to people in Birmingham? Over the weekend, we did a skills show in the heart of Frankley with the West Midlands Mayor, and it was exciting to see young people getting up on a Sunday to come to their local school, and construction, engineering, these are the sort of things they asked, and there was one guy who actually came in as we were packing up, and it was really humbling to see that. But again, I think we've raised this on this committee a few times now, that we seem to have a big problem in the city of signposting and pointing people in the right direction, especially when there's big projects like this on their doorstep. The other thing I want to point out is actually on the affordable housing. Just want to clarify, because you said 35%, but the report says 24% of those 51,000 homes is going to be affordable housing. And you actually stated the point for me, which is about the city centre being the main focus. So a bit of a loaded question here, but I'd like to know what the City Council's definition of affordable housing is, because I would argue that dwellings in the city centre are not affordable. They're most likely going to be the most expensive. And also, Ken's already raised the point, the clean air zone. What sort of impact is that going to have on people travelling in and out of the city centre or through the city centre, and how is that going to impact the affordable houses that you are building? The next point is the enterprise zones, which were brought in to effect by the coalition government in 2011. You said there's been a big success. I would agree, so I'd like to know, are there any plans to expand on those? Which brings us on to the next point of the economic zones in Longbridge. I know the iTech Park is currently an enterprise zone, but when the rest of the development is done, are there plans to expand the whole business park into one enterprise zone? Because I think that will be welcomed by a lot of people in the community. Thank you.
Thank you for those the questions, and clearly there are a lot of interrelated issues here in terms of the discussion around the clean air zone and the discussion around the jobs and skills programme and access, which clearly there's a call for something to come back on those at some point. I know the clean air zone has been discussed previously. The point around accessibility and numbers of people accessing jobs is a very important one, and that's something that we'll have to take away and bring back in terms of providing additional information and data on that, and see what data we've got available. It's clearly going to be an important part of whether the overall strategy is effective and delivering. It's certainly delivering the outcomes, but it's about the finer grain aspects of that and who's accessing those jobs. So that's something that I've noted and we'll take away to provide more information on. I think in terms of turning to the points around affordable housing and housing, so the City Council has a target that all homes, 35% of the overall homes that are delivered will be affordable. The government defines affordable housing as covering a range of tenures, from social housing to discounted, shared. So there are a number of different ways in which affordable housing can be provided. And our role as a City Council is to maximise that provision to meet that 35% target. The figure that you referenced in the document of, I think, 24% is our achievement to date in terms of the number of homes that have been affordable.
Thank
you. Do you want to carry on the the economic zones?
Yeah.
Which I think was important. Yeah. Also, the clean air zone, again, I think there's obviously a wider discussion around the clean air zone, so I won't comment on the policy itself. And I think I've hopefully answered that in response to the original questions. But on the economic zones, again, the national initiative was for an enterprise zone. And our enterprise zone is in the city centre. Obviously, at the time of the launch of the enterprise zone, we wanted to also identify that it's not just about city centre, it's about the wider Birmingham, and it's also about the other sectors. So the economic zones were identified as well. So they're a local initiative, the economic zones. The enterprise zone, which is the city centre, is a national initiative. And we recently expanded the city centre enterprise zone around the High Speed 2 station to cover the Digbeth area, particularly to reflect the importance of the creative industries, the digital media, and how we support them as part of the growing economy. In terms of the economic zones, the other 5 across the wider city, that's something we'll have to take away in terms of plans to expand those. It's obviously a local decision about how we approach them, but clearly, as you said, they have been successful to focus attention and investment. And particularly with Peddymore again, there's an opportunity there to look at how we continue to diversify the economy. So I can take that away as an important point. Thank you.
Thank you for that.